Hello, good evening. My name is Miss Ash and welcome to our RSHE policy review with parents, carers and staff. Thank you for giving us some time this evening. What I'm going to be sharing with you is an overview of our relationship, sex and health education and where it sits within our Arrow curriculum. The main parts of our policy, which we share with yourselves and with governors, and also an opportunity for you to ask questions at the end. So the Arrow curriculum is designed in mind to be part of our pupils' cultural capital. So it's an opportunity for them to develop skills, focus on their achievements where they can do well, and then develop their knowledge, skills, as well as fostering well-being and resilience. Our lessons are designed to develop the whole child, to give them understanding and appreciation of others and situations that may be unfamiliar to their own. It gives them the knowledge and the skills for them to stay safe and stay healthy. And we hope that they build skills that can be transferable for employability too. We cover in Arrow a few main areas, so relationship, sex and health, which is our focus for this evening, but we also talk about careers guidance, financial education. There are elements of RE and elements of citizenship in years 10 and year 11. Arrow is a compulsory subject, especially when we are talking about relationships, sex and health, and that's where we're going to focus our attentions this evening. So what is relationship, sex and health education? So in 2020, a new statutory guidance for relationship, sex and health was published from the government, and it replaced what was the national curriculum for PSHE. There is new subject content that has been put in place since then, and it is updated regularly with guidance from the government. There is a consultation period that happened in 2024 where the Conservative government were reviewing the content. That is something that we are still awaiting to hear more information about. We use the PSHE Association to help us structure our curriculum based on the statutory guidance. I am going to break that down and explain that to you a little bit more in a moment. But we do try to make sure that we build a spiral curriculum where all things are covered in an age-appropriate way. So relationships, sex and health education are divided into 14 topics. We do not teach them in isolation, we teach them throughout the curriculum, and I'm going to explain that a little bit further in a moment. All the topics fit under different headings, and I'm going to share those with you now. So we have subcategories for each topic, and we number them according to where they fit. So for example, with families, it's number 1, and each of the categories that fall under that, or each of the sort of topics, subcategories, that fall within that topic, are given a number. We do that as a way to track that we are making sure that we cover all of the statutory content, and we do share that with parents as well. So for example, when we are talking about relationships in year 7, we talk about building relationships, we identify what healthy friendships are, and we talk about things like consent. We also talk about celebrating diversity within our community. In year 8, we look at discrimination, we look at things like hate crime, we also look at consent and healthy relationships, and that builds all the way through up towards year 11, where we discuss more intimate relationships, things like sexual harassment, but we also talk about families and conflict too. Here is an overview of all the topics that we teach. So you can see year 7 at the top, year 8, year 9, year 10 and so forth. Now, what we have structured and what we have for you is there are 2 relationship topics in every year. So every year group will do 2 relationship topics, 2 health and wellbeing topics, and 2 living in the wider world topics. Our living in the wider world topics do cover lots of our careers education and financial education, but there are links to some of the statutory framework as well. Now, you would have noticed that we send out a parental communication calendar every half term. So this comes through from an email from the school, and it is linked in our school newsletter, and it is available on the website at any time for you to go and take a look at. So we divide it into each half term, and we give you as much of an overview as we can of the things that are going to be sort of talked about and come up and that are going to be discussed in those topics. So if what I'm showing you right now, you can see the title for the topic is underneath the year group heading, then underneath that is the skills and the things that we're going to be covering. And then on that pink strip, that breaks down how we plan our statutory framework. So before, when we looked at families, that was number 1. So you can see there are some 1 point so-and-so, etc. So it's all linked to those subcategories. All of those subcategories are available in our RSHE policy, which is available on our school website, where you can read over in more detail what is being covered across the 5 years that they are here. When these get sent home, which again happens every half term, if you have any concerns or any worries about anything that's potentially coming up for that half term, I am your first port of call, so please do reach out to the school and contact myself as opposed to heads of year, and I should be able to answer your queries and support any issues. Just to have a look in a little bit more detail, we do follow the thematic model of not PSHE Association. That gives us a really good overview of the topics, but it also means that they're not taught in isolation. So they cover some different areas at different points throughout their 5 years, and they kind of revisit and interleave that really nicely. Now, with the exception of sex education, all pupils need to cover the RSHE content. Pupils will not be removed from any other aspects apart from sex education. We define sex education in our policy as anything associated with contraception, sexually transmitted infections, and yes. So with the right to withdraw, parents do have the right to withdraw their child from the sex education aspects. Once again, when I send home communication about what is being taught in the topics, I will send home what the lessons are and which lessons are sex education, so that parents are fully informed as to when that is arising. Within the 3 terms of turning 16, parents have the right to withdraw. After 3 terms of them turning 16, it is the pupils that make the decision themselves. Should you wish to withdraw your child from any aspects of sex education, there is a parental right to withdraw form, which is available on our school website. Our policy clearly states that form needs to be returned to Mr. Wright as head teacher, and he will review and have discussions with me, and then we will speak to the parents, speak to the child, and make plans accordingly. In addition to this, if you do have any concerns about topics that are being covered, I work very closely with heads of year, with the safeguarding team and with aspirations, and I'm happy to take any emails or questions regarding those topics. This is the right to withdraw form, which you will find on our website, which needs to be returned to Mr. Wright. And that concludes all the information I have to share with you. If you do have any questions about any of the content that I have shared with you this evening, please feel free to put them in the chat, and in a moment we will have a little look at those. Thank you. We have no questions at this time. If anyone does have a question, please feel free to ask it. Okay, thank you so much for your time this evening. And if you do have any queries at all, then feel free to reach out to the school and speak to myself. My email address is now being put into the chat for you, should you have any queries or questions. Thank you.